Do you feel like you are constantly going out of the way to take care of everything and be a supportive partner because that's what you're supposed to do when you love somebody? But it's like your partner just never got that memo. Like they just do whatever they feel like, totally oblivious to all of the things that you are constantly sacrificing for them. Is this because they just don't love you as much as you love them? Or is it because they're a selfish, narcissistic asshole? Is it because they think you're supposed to be like their new mom and they're just some immature kid who never grew up? Constantly compromising in your relationship and getting nothing in return is agonizing and frustrating. It sucks the love right out of you and leaves you feeling nothing but resentment for your partner. In this video, I'm going to help you understand how you ended up in this situation and how to get out of it. I'm Rachael Sloan. I'm a relationship coach and a self-love advocate. I help people thrive in their relationships by getting their own shit together first. And getting your shit together means learning to love yourself, to own your emotions, and to manage your mind. And if you are stuck in this compromise, anger, resentment loop in your relationship, it means you have some work to do to get your shit together. And I know you're like, hold up, Rachael, it's not me. I'm already doing all of the things. I'm already doing all of the work. I am carrying this whole relationship. They're the one, right? They need to change. They need to watch a video. They are so selfish and lazy. What do you expect me to do? I'm already doing it all. And no, I don't expect you to do more. I actually think by the end of this video, you're going to see that you can do a lot less and feel way better and have a much more satisfying relationship. So many of us, mostly women, and I'm sorry guys, because I know this applies to some of you, but I really do believe this is such a more prominent problem in women, and that's who I hear it from all the time. We have this inner rule book about love. And there are two kind of unwritten rules that are deeply ingrained in our minds. One is if you love someone, you do anything you can to make them happy. And the second rule is if you love someone, you do everything you can to avoid hurting them, to not hurt their feelings, to not do things that they don't like. You make a big effort. And you expect them to do the same thing for you, right? Love is a give and take. A relationship is a two-way street. We have been taught to believe these things. If you love someone, you make them happy and you don't hurt their feelings. We've been taught this since we were little kids, right? It started with our friends. Don't hurt your friends' feelings. It's not nice. This belief is so deeply ingrained in us, and it's enforced in our movies and our books and the romances we read and look at and see in the world, and even in all the relationship advice out there. But these beliefs are based on a premise that is completely false. The basic premise is that we can create other people's feelings and they can create ours. You guys, this is total bunkum. This is just flat out not true. Your emotions are created by your thoughts, period. They are not created by another person's actions or inactions. I know that me telling you this might make you want to just turn this video off. Don't. Stay with me here, you guys, because this will set you free. Let me give you an example that might help. I hear from so often, he just doesn't listen to me. Okay, obviously that's making you angry, right? He doesn't listen to me, I'm not being heard, creates anger. And you're like, well, obviously him not listening to me is making me angry. He is creating my anger. But let's think about your thoughts. You have the thought, he doesn't listen to me. You think things like, if he really cared about me, he would listen, and then he would do the things I'm asking. He would change in the ways I want him to change if he loved me. You want him to change his actions, to change what he does to make you feel better. But let's imagine he does. Let's say he listens to you, and he does the thing you want. Maybe you want him to cook dinner sometimes. You tell him that, he listens, he cooks dinner. You feel better for a moment because you have the thought now, he listened to me, he's meeting my needs, he's trying to make our relationship better. You have that thought for a minute and you feel better. But in the long run, this doesn't make you happy because you have trained your brain to believe that he's supposed to make you happy and he doesn't. He's supposed to listen and do things for you and he doesn't. That's the thought that you've taught yourself over and over and repeated to yourself over and over. So after a few days of him making dinner, you're going to start being like, well, I want him to do it without me asking. I shouldn't have to ask every day. He should just know that this is what he would do if he loved me, that this is what would help. You're never satisfied as long as you want somebody else to change themselves, to change their actions so you can feel okay, you will always struggle. You will always be disappointed. They will comply for a minute. You'll get minor relief, momentary satisfaction, and then you'll go right back to not feeling good and looking for them to fix it for you. This isn't your fault. This habit of thinking, this desire to make somebody else change our feelings, this has been so indoctrinated in us from such a young age, right? And we have actually self-indoctrinated because once we learned this belief that other people can create our emotions and we can create theirs, we tell it to ourselves all the time. We're always in our head being like, well, he should do X, Y, and Z if he really loved me. And I have to do X, Y, and Z because otherwise he'll be upset or he won't feel good or he won't be happy. Right? We're constantly reinforcing this belief for ourselves. We're keeping it alive within ourselves. As long as you keep those beliefs alive, that someone else can and should make you happy and that someone else can hurt you emotionally, it doesn't matter if you marry Prince Charming himself, you are still going to feel out of balance in your relationship. You'll be constantly trying to make him feel good and constantly resenting him for not making you feel good all the time. You will have to compromise and sacrifice more and more because you can't create his emotions. You'll try. He'll still have bad days and good days because he's a human being. The human brain full of human thoughts that make him happy, that make him sad, make him angry, depressed, disappointed, joyful. You're also going to feel all of those things because you too have a human brain. No matter how amazing your partner is, your thoughts are still going to create the full range of human emotions. And the full range of human emotions, that is your birthright. That is what we are here to experience as humans. You cannot escape them. You can learn to process them. You can learn to manage them. You can learn to create more of the ones that you enjoy feeling. But the thing is, it's not the feeling bad emotions that's making you miserable in your relationship right now. What's making everything feel so difficult, what's making so much anger and frustration come up, is your resistance to reality. You are insisting that it's true that you can make him happy and that he should make you happy. And as long as you continue to fight that, you're going to be like swimming upstream. You are going to be constantly compromising and expecting him to compromise. And you're insisting that he can create your emotions for you. When you do this, you are like throwing away your emotional power. It's like you're laying down on the floor and being like, I am a victim. Somebody take care of me. If you want to be happy, if you want to feel loved and supported, if you want security and certainty in your life, there's only one way to achieve those things. Your partner cannot give them to you. You have to learn to love yourself, to support yourself, to create inner security, to create the certainty that you will be kind to yourself no matter what happens. The secret to a successful relationship is not compromising to keep each other happy. The secret to a successful relationship is stepping up to the plate and taking ownership of your own happiness, getting off of that floor, letting go of this old but comfortable victim story that you have about yourself, and taking responsibility for who you are and for how you feel. That also means loving yourself, learning to be kind to yourself, learning to accept your flaws and your mistakes, and learning to celebrate your gifts. If this sounds impossible and difficult and overwhelming, I want you to consider this. If you spent half, 50% of the time and energy that you spend right now compromising, trying to make your partner compromise, and wallowing in angry resentment about how they're not compromising enough, if you spent half that time and energy learning to manage your mind and process your emotions, you would feel infinitely better. You would, if you did that 50% of the current time and energy you're spending, you would be able to know deeply on an emotional level that you are loved and supported. You would be able to accept and love your partner as they are without demanding that they change for you. You would have access to joy. You would be able to cope effectively with anxiety and stress and overwhelm when those things come up. Half the time. Really, it sounds daunting to learn to love yourself, to learn to take care of yourself, to own your own emotions, to take responsibility for how you think and what you feel. It sounds daunting and scary. The truth is, it takes way, way less time and energy than it takes to try to force a change that you can't create, to try to force somebody else to feel something that you can't make them feel, to expect them to do that for you. Oh my gosh, it's exhausting. You guys, you know that this compromise cycle is exhausting. The number one cause of anxiety is trying to control something you cannot control. If you are anxious in your relationship, I want you to check your beliefs. Are you believing your partner can make you happy? Are you believing you should be making them happy? These beliefs are just like a recipe for anxiety and stress in a relationship. And they're going to lead to angry compromising on your part. So when you believe that love means it's your responsibility to make someone else happy, you are dooming yourself to a lifetime of struggle, of constantly swimming upstream against the current. When you believe that being loved by someone means that they're going to make you feel good, you'll be looking for your partner to be constantly proving that love to you. If you feel good, they love you. If you feel bad, they're not loving you right? Either they're a bad partner or you're somehow not worthy of real love. This desire to get them to prove that they love you, to prove that they're good enough for you, and to prove that you're good enough for love, this leads you to be really manipulative, to really want to constantly change the other person. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my past in my marriage. I used to want my husband to do all kinds of things. I wanted him to clean the house without me asking so that I could relax. I wanted him to change his sleeping habits, to stay up later at night and sleep later in the morning so that I didn't have to feel guilty about being on a different schedule than him and missing time together. I wanted him to initiate sex at night instead of in the morning, but only on the nights when I really felt like it, which he was somehow magically supposed to know, so that I could feel desired and sexy. I could go on and on. There were so many things I wanted him to do so I could feel better, so I could feel okay. But you know what? Constantly trying to change and control someone isn't love. That is not love. Love is unconditional. Love is accepting. Loving someone means loving who they are right now, when they're angry, when they're depressed, when they're sad, when they are lazy, when they are failing. Love is unconditional, but most of us go into relationships with a whole list of conditions, constantly requiring that our partners prove they love us, right? Because it's always about us. And in the process, we lose our love for them. We are always manipulating and trying to change them instead of loving them as they are. Most of us experience in relationships is a far cry from love. It is validation seeking. It is approval seeking. It is a constant effort to get someone else to create emotions we want to feel and don't know how to create for ourselves. As long as you depend on someone else to create your feelings for you, you're going to feel out of control, anxious, and angry. You're going to be frustrated and disappointed in them and hurt by them because they can't do it. They can't create your emotions. Sometimes they'll do all the right things, all the things in your little book of love, and it will be easy for you in that moment to think loving thoughts about them and about you. But then the moment they do something wrong, you'll be right back there in that spiral of negative emotion, and you'll be mad at them for putting you there, for not compromising for you. And you'll be angry at yourself for not being amazing enough to make them want to compromise for you. The solution is to learn to manage your own mind, to process your own thoughts and feelings, and to take ownership of yourself. It's the first step to truly loving yourself and to truly loving somebody else. If this video spoke to you, if you are ready to get your shit together, to start enjoying real relationships, healthy, happy relationships from a strong foundation of self-love, then you have to check out the Relationship Foundation. It is my 12-week, completely personalized one-on-one coaching program that will guide you through the 3 pillars of self-love: acceptance, ownership, and intention. You will learn step by step how to cultivate a strong foundation of love within yourself so that you can manage your mind, process your emotions, cope with anxiety and stress effectively, and create the security, validation, and love that you crave from within so that you can finally show up in relationships loving someone else unconditionally, so that relationships can become easy and fun instead of a struggle or the battle or the daunting heavy, overwhelming thing that they currently are. The Relationship Foundation, the link is in the description below. It's amazing. It will change your life, not only in love, but in every aspect, because learning how to manage your mind, process your emotions, and have a full and rich human experience without resistance is the most empowering, incredible thing you can do for yourself. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.